I'm Zoe Murphy, a furniture and textile designer from Margate. Every month I do a workshop in my studio where visitors can eat dinner that I've made for them and make something creative along with me. But with the pandemic situation affecting the amount we can socialise in the UK, I have to stay at home. Not wanting my friends, family and customers to miss out on creativity and companionship during this period of isolation, I decided to move the workshops online instead. I've carefully designed, hand-printed, composed and packed hundreds of material packs that look fun, are easy to follow and can fit through the letterbox. At a time when we all might feel a bit far apart from one another, no one has to miss out on the Margate Studio nights, and I can share a bit of enthusiasm and instruction through social media live events, colourful parcels and this online tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, my name is Zoe Murphy and welcome to my banner making tutorial. If you are here, you have likely purchased one of this month's appliqué kits from my margategirl.com website, where I have been setting up how to make things kits and shipping them out to everyone. And every month I send one of these to people who are on the subscription list, who have bought one online, and they look a bit like this. I go for a kind of fun, colourful package every month. And this month I've gone for black with white polka dots. So look. Actually, I even match with my skirt today as well. Thought I'd decorate myself in the same way. This is the video where I'm going to be showing you all how to make an appliqué banner, much like the ones that are behind me. Some of my favourites here, and I'll use this as a little example. A thank you banner to hang in your window or to put on the wall with a sort of motivational statement or message. And in every single kit, I've been including everything you'd need to make one of these, including this really cool little trim on the background. So here is the little YouTube video to show you the ins and outs of how to create your own. In every pack, which is always packaged up with a little bit of lovely tissue paper, you get some instructions and also a little letter from me, because I love to kind of cheer everybody on. You've got the step-by-step for how to do what we're doing today. And also included is a little reversed letter sheet that you can use like a template or a stencil to cut out some of your lettering for the banner. You also get a little wooden dowel to hang across the top of your banner to keep it nice and straight, a cool and fun trim in order to fringe the bottom of your banner. I've included a cord to hang it with, a rubber hook so that you can hang it up in the window if you want to as well. We've got a thread, two different types, and a needle as well. You've got the banner itself, cut to size with some kind of fringing, torn edges so you don't need to do any seams, any sort of extra sewing or ironing if you don't need to. That is all ready to go. And something called Bonder web. Now this is one of the most important parts of the kit. It's this thin layer of glue is going to attach everything together. So we're always going to be careful about what side we iron on, and I'll talk you through that in a minute. And finally, a couple of extra bits of fabric to do your lettering from or any of your decorations. I've included some white, some darker colour, either a red, or if you bought one of the blue kits, you'll have a dark blue, and then also a nice pattern fabric as well. So you've got a bit of a choice for some kind of coordinate patterns if you want to use them. There we go. So that's on in your kit. If you've got that set up, you are ready to go and make yourself a little banner for your home. Every month when I send out these packs, I have a big list of people that subscribe to them as well, which is amazing. It means you don't have to get on the website and sign up for the packs every month. And it also means that you get a little bit extra in every kit. To say thank you for subscribing and for being my OG day ones, I always make sure you guys get a little extra treat in the pack. So if you are a subscriber and you have signed up to get one of these packs every month from Margate Girl, in your little stripy pack this month, this feels exciting, like I don't even know. I do know I packed all of these. You will have some extra trims in the way of some vintage accessories that I've bought from the haberdashery. Some of the stuff that I get from there is as old as like the 1960s or the 70s. So really lovely old vintage trim and a little tassel as well to hang on the bottom of your banner. So if you are pulling together some of these materials at home to make your own banner, that's the kind of stuff you're going to want. Everything I've just listed there and any extra trims and cool bits of haberdashery that you can include in the banner that you're going to make. I think we're ready to get started now. Okay, so when you're ready to start making your banner and you've got all your materials all ready to go, you're going to want to choose what your banner is going to say. Now I've left room for about 2 or 3 words on these banners, and that's according to the size of text that I've put on the sheet that we're going to use in this kit. This is the Futura typeface. It's my favourite typeface. I use it for everything. And it's also the one that's closest to Instagram story lettering as well, which I love. If you follow me on Instagram stories, you'll know I'm always moving these little letters around to kind of create fun little compositions. So we've got room for about 2 or 3 words on here, and you just need to pick what yours is going to say. The very next thing to do is trace your letters from the sheet provided onto the magical Bondaweb material. That's this stuff here, the stuff that resembles tracing paper. Now, Bondaweb is going to melt with the heat of the iron, and it's going to fuse together any fabrics that you put it into contact with. So helpfully, it's got this nice papery side to start with, and that's the side that we're going to draw our letters onto. It's quite thin stuff, so you can actually see the letters through it, which is really helpful. You're going to pick the ones you want to use and kind of snuggle them all up together, draw around them with the pencil onto this papery side, and then we're going to iron that stuff to the fabric that we're going to make our letters out of. Now, one of the things I've made really important in the instructions is to make sure you nest the letters. I've provided this much Bondaweb in the kit. This is more than enough to do definitely 1, maybe even 2 banners, depending on how many words you've got in yours. But that is if we economise on the materials. So nesting of the letters is where you push all of your letters together when you're drawing them. When they're on the fabric banner, they're going to be all spaced out. You can have them wherever you like them. But for the purposes of getting them onto this material, which we're only going to cut out afterwards, you might as well get them really close together and leave very few gaps if you can. So that's what I'm going to work on now. My banner, what shall my banner say today? Enjoy. I like it. Nice and clippy, nice and short for the purposes of this tutorial, and generally how I like to live my life is enjoying everything. So we're going to do a nice pink banner today that says enjoy. There's a few other colours of banners kits in the shop, in the Margate Girl shop. You can get a black one or you can get a blue one, but pink's my favourite. So we're doing that today, pink and red. Okay, so I want to write the word enjoy using the letters that I've got from here and get that transferred onto the Bondaweb. I'm going to make sure that my papery side is facing upwards. That's the side I'm going to draw the letters onto. So I'm going to place that over the top, and all the while I'm doing the drawing, I'm going to make sure I'm really nesting those letters, squidging them together, keeping them really snug, and that way I'm going to minimise the amount of waste I have from my material. All right, so there's my E. I'm going to pull this over right into the corner because that's all I need. And I'm going to carefully stencil around this, again, making sure that I'm doing the really papery side. I'm certainly not going to be drawing onto the gluey side of the Bondaweb, which is this side. You'll feel it because it will be a bit crispier feeling. There we go, got my E drawn round. And then I just need to locate my other letters, squidge them up really tight in a lovely little snuggly nest like that. And then carry on. Simply need to draw all the rest of the letters now and maybe fill this little space here with all the shapes that I need. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, pulling my scissors up from the floor, whoops, is to cut this out in a nice big blob. I'm not going to try and cut those letters out just yet. We're going to wait till we've ironed them onto the fabric that we're using. But first of all, I'm going to cut a nice big bubbly shape out with all my letters in. And then to activate the glue and get this stuck to a piece of fabric, I'm going to iron it onto the back of whatever I would like to make my letters out of. So for me, that's going to be the lovely red that I've got here. Now, this doesn't really have a front or a back, but if it did have a front or a back, like maybe a decoration on the front, I would want to be ironing this reverse lettering onto the back of the fabric. Luckily for me, there isn't really one, so we're just going to get that ironed onto there now. Is that hot enough? This is the only ironing I do. Ironing to make cool, crafty things. All right, so I'm going to iron this down. And again, making good use of all the materials. And squish that right in. Now the iron, I'm not going to have any steam in it, and it's on its hottest setting. Making sure this is the last quality control check. I'm definitely ironing onto the papery side and not onto the gluey side. That's a great way to very quickly ruin your iron. So here we go. Nice like that, and a little press. And look at that, the glue is melting from the heat of the iron. And I'm getting some really, really lovely fixing going on between all those reversed letters and what is essentially the back of my red fabric. Cool. Now I just need to cut these out. I've cut my letters out. Enjoy. And I've left the middles in because I kind of like it. The next thing I have to do is not hold them up on my hand. I need to peel the paper off of the back, and it's going to reveal just the glue stuck to the back of the fabric. So there's now a thin layer of glue on the back of all my letters, and we're going to put them to one side, ready to use. Making sure that the glue is always the one facing down, because you do not want the glue to get in contact with your iron. That is not the plan. Okay, so they're all ready to stick, and I can put them to one side while I now work out what I'm doing next with my banner. I want to be putting my letters straight on to my banner, but we need a bit of a channel at the top first because that's where the pole's going to go. Now, if I was to stick the letters on next without doing this fold first, the proportion would be wrong. They might look like they were creeping too high up on the banner. So the next thing we're going to do is fold our banner over at the top. It just needs to be long enough to be able to fit your piece of wood in there really comfortably, ready to hang it. So I'm going to fold it over by about 4 centimetres, stitch it down with the thread that's in the pack, bit of a running stitch, and then we'll be good to go with getting our lettering on here. So in the pack, you've got a needle and you've got a thread that corresponds with your banner colour, and there's also a contrasting one that you're going to use for binding the cord to the banner pole. You don't need to worry about that one yet. But now I'm absolutely going to use the one that's the same colour as my banner background to do a running stitch all the way across the top of the fold, ready to receive the banner pole. I'm not going to tie any knots to start my running stitch to sort of seal the little fold that's there. I'm just going to go in and out of the fabric in the same place a couple of times. That really anchors it, and you never need a knot then. Okay, and then I'm going to just really, with a very tiny stitch appearing at the front, this is the back of the banner, that's the front, with a very tiny stitch, I'm going to work my way along nice and quick in a nice straight line to create this channel. All right, I've stitched it down, I've ironed it down. There we go, nice channel at the top, and I know that's going to fit my pole through when it comes to kind of creating this at the very end. Just do a little dry run. Yes, look at that. It's starting to look like a banner now. This is cool. So now I need to arrange my letters on the fabric where I want them to go. I'll take into account that I'm going to stitch a bit of a trim across here next. So I probably don't want to put them too near the bottom, but just deciding where my design is going to go, somewhere in the middle. There we go. Now this is the point where if I wanted to create any other shapes to go on the background, along with my lettering, maybe using the fun fabric that's in the kits, at this point I would draw them onto the Bonder web as well and go through the whole process again. Do a nice shape on the Bonder web in pencil, cut it out, press it onto the back of my fabric, cut that out, and then place that on the fabric where I want it to go along with the rest of the letters. I think I will do that. I think I will do a nice little series of stars to go around my enjoy lettering. I'll just shift my letters out of the way. And because I've got all this spare material, I can do some really fun things with it now. Maybe some great big stars. And I reckon I'll put these all across the top of the banner. All right, so once again, be careful, be careful. Do not iron on the gluey side, always iron on the papery side. You want that side facing you. I'm going to give this a nice little press on what I reckon is the back of my lovely gingham fabric. These gingham stars are going to look quite Wild West. I should have done howdy. I should have done howdy as my wording. I'll have to be another banner. Oh, howdy. I've used all the little scraps that I had to cut more circles out as well. And I think I've finished kind of styling my banner. I just need to make sure I've peeled off all the paper backing from all the shapes that I've cut out, place them where I want them to go, accommodate for there being a trim at the bottom, so make sure I've kind of factored that into my spacing and placing, and then iron it all down. I'm really happy with where all of these are going, and I've even managed to use up a lot of the scraps. I just need to make sure when I'm peeling all the backing paper off that my little dots and all of the letters that I've got here are getting put glue side facing down. Because as we know, if I don't do that and I iron them, and this glue is pretty hard to see, there's a good chance that this will end up sticking to the iron. We don't want that. We want it on the banner. I've got them all where I want them to go, and all the backing paper has been peeled off. So now I can just iron them on. All right. Just going to press these down. Need to make sure I don't move them while I press them. Like that. Once I've got them down a little bit, I can then go over the whole thing. Have I spelt enjoy right? Yeah. Imagine. That would not be good. Yay! Enjoy. Enjoy. It's finished. Kind of. So we've got letters all pressed on. Look at that. I am happy with that. I just need to stitch my trim on now and get it attached to the cord at the top, ready to hang. Just like I stitched using a running stitch, the channel at the top, I'm now going to sew on my little bit of trim, my bit of fringing to the bottom of the banner. Probably whip this out. Now, I'm going to probably do a little fold at the end to make sure it doesn't sort of unravel before I stitch it on one side, like that. And then I'm going to sew it all the way along there. When I get to that central point, just to make sure it doesn't just kind of split like that, I might do a little fold, tiny little one, and then stitch it further along there. There we go. Okay, I've sewn my fringing on. I'm really happy with that. I love it. And it's nearly done. I just need to attach the piece of cord that I've got from the kit. This is cut to size. And I need to fix this to here so that I can hang it in the window, on the wall, wherever I want to kind of like encourage people to get a bit of motivation. So to do that, I'm going to use the embroidery thread from the kit. That's the very much thicker part of thread that's on the spool. And I'm going to cut a big chunk of that and thread my needle onto it. And I'll show you what to do next. I've got my threaded needle and my piece of cord with the little taped ends. I'm going to fold those ends over and take the end of the thread that hasn't got the needle on it. And I'm going to start, I could tie a little knot there actually. Like that, then go around the end. And now I'm just going to wrap it round and round quite a few times to kind of anchor it in place. And before long, I'm then going to place it onto the end of the pole like that and keep going. I'm pulling it quite tight so that it's really binding itself. Make sure the thread's at the back. Like that. When I feel like that's quite secure, I'm then going to turn it over towards the back. That's where you can see my little bit of taped end of the cord. And I'm going to go through a couple of times with the needle to kind of secure it in place. I've probably wrapped that maybe sort of 7 or 8 times so far. What I kind of like to do at this stage is even go round a bit this way. that'll tighten it up even more, make it really taut. And it looks quite neat as well. So I'm just pulling it through. Just pulling it through a few times. And once I feel like that's really secure now, I'm then going to turn it back over again and go in and out with the needle. Or if I've got my little tail there, I could always tie a bit of a knot. All right, look at that. That's really cool. I feel like that looks really neat. And I just need to do it on the other side, making sure that my banner is loaded onto it when I do it. And then it's going to be done. So let's crack on. All done. One banner, saying whatever you want it to say. I want to say enjoy today, but on another day, whatever I wanted to share. I feel brilliant about the fact that I could put those words into fabric, have it hanging in my house to motivate me, inspire me, encourage me, or remind me to behave a bit better. Love it. Enjoy. What did yours say? All right, so hope you've enjoyed the video. If you want to make one of the banners just like this, take a look on margategirl.com. We do a kit like this every month, and there's still kits available if you like the look of these. And don't forget to like and subscribe to these videos. It means that you're not going to miss out on any, and it's also really supportive for all the work that we're doing, trying to get some of these tutorials out to other people. Hope you've had fun. See you next time. Bye.